Hello, welcome to Todd Miller TV. Today's video is on what happens to those things in the house that aren't written on the purchase agreement, like who gets them. So I'll give you an example. Buyer walks through a house, they see everything in it, and then they write up a purchase agreement, and in the purchase agreement there's this block that says fixtures and personal property, and all the things are written in there, specifically, blinds, and window coverings and ceiling fans and electrical outlets and electrical systems and water systems and all this other stuff. So then what happens is the seller moves out, you own the house, you go in and you go, hey, wait a minute, that thing disappeared, or this thing is different than it was. How do you deal with that? So the first thing to do is, after the sellers have moved out, just before close of escrow, do a walkthrough. If you do a walkthrough right before close of escrow, you'll be able to see anything that's changed. And if you say, hey, wait a minute, that ceiling fan is not the same one that they had before, they've replaced it with a cheaper one and taken the nice one, you can just tell escrow, hey, we'll hold off on the sale, don't transfer the property, don't give them our money. We want it now time to negotiate back get that fan back, or settle it somehow. That's really the best way to do it. There's not going to be a perfect solution. I'll give you an example. There is ambiguity in what sometimes can stay with the house. Like, for example, let's say you go in the bathroom and you see the mirror is like stuck on the wall. Those tend to stay because that's affixed to the house. But then you may see somewhere in the house where there was a decorative mirror, but the decorative mirror might have been hanging on a nail. So the intent was, it wasn't permanent, it was just hanging on a nail, like a picture, but it was just a mirror. So you may think, oh, that's a beautiful mirror, that it stays, but maybe it doesn't, maybe it goes. And it could be the same for some chandeliers or some other things. There was an instance, I remember a bunch of years ago, where the people had a really nice, beautiful ceiling fan. It was hand-carved, it was amazing. And they never said anything, and what happened was when they moved out, they pulled it off and they put a $15 one from Home Depot on there. And the buyers moved in and said, well, this is an amazing room, where'd that ceiling fan go? We really liked it. So we had this dispute because the seller took it, and they said, well, we've left a ceiling fan like the contract says ceiling fan. So as a general rule, if you do two things, you're going to be safe. One is, if you have any doubt as a buyer or seller, make sure it's in writing. Say, hey, this specific item, and if it's something like a refrigerator, and they say, yeah, it's going to stay, put in there, refrigerator, Gen Air, this model number, stainless steel. Be very specific so they don't pull it out and replace it with something else. So if you're very specific, you put it in writing. The second thing is, just before close of escrow, do a walkthrough. Once they've left the house, make sure everything's great, and then you can run down, sign everything, close escrow, and then take possession of the house, and you should be good. So anyway, and then of course, if you can't resolve it that way, you can mediate it or do whatever. So I thought I'd share that with you because that's something that we see quite often, especially when a person moves out, and typically you don't have this problem with bank-owned homes, but anyway. So that is my update for today, and hope to see you on another video. Thanks.